Josh Allen, they're not winning games. We know Philly has won without Saquon. Philly's won a Super Bowl without Saquon. We know Baltimore. I mean, they won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer and the crew. So, is Lamar Jackson important to Baltimore? Yeah, I mean, he's been important to this entire new era that they have in Baltimore. So I would say that, yeah, he's incredibly important to Baltimore. And I think that, there's a huge importance of Saquon to Philadelphia. But could the Buffalo Bills, this is what I look at when I look at most valuable player. Can this team, in my opinion, can they survive? Could they advance and make it to the postseason without them? And I mean, can Baltimore find a way to win some games with Derrick Henry if they didn't have Lamar Jackson? I think that the team can win without Lamar. I think the team has won without Lamar. But can Buffalo do anything without Josh Allen? And I think that answer is no. I think that is a clear and present answer. I don't think it's even a question. So we have seen we've seen Philadelphia do it without having Saquon. And as much as he has had himself a successful career and another quote unquote washed up old man, right? Pretty good for an old guy. We see what he's done. And Saquon Barkley is absolutely one of the best running backs in the NFL. Him and Derrick Henry. This is where I would say I think we need to give an MVP to more than one offensive position per year. Because you have Offensive Player of the Year and then you have like the MVP and the overall MVP. But this is where I stop and I say to myself, like, there should be a running back. This is how I would do it. I would have like offensive MVP of the regular season, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and then offensive line, right? And then I would put all of those winners in a pool, and then you pick the winner from there. So, like, if, let's say, Josh Allen won quarterback in the AFC, and the NFC and running back went to Derrick Henry in the AFC, and then, so on and so forth, you give out those awards. Then you have, like, Josh Allen against Derrick Henry on who should win the overall offensive MVP. Because in a season like this, when you have Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Mike Evans, come on. I mean, this is an incredible year where you can argue so many of these guys. But if we're saying take this one guy out of the franchise, can they succeed? Baker Mayfield was in games against Super Bowl caliber teams without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin this year. Baltimore, without Derrick Henry, found a way to win. Baltimore, without Lamar Jackson, has won a Super Bowl. Saquon, not on Philadelphia in recent history, Philly's won a Super Bowl. Buffalo, without Josh Allen, is a 5-7 win team. So you got to give it to Josh Allen in that argument. That I love that Murph brought it up, because we're supposed to be talking about the most valuable player. And I don't know if there's been a more valuable player to a franchise in recent history than Josh Allen. And I think you can argue Lamar Jackson after that. But again, I think that Baltimore with Derrick Henry can do some things. And we almost saw Tyler Huntley win a playoff game a few seasons ago with the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Dolphins. But can Buffalo do anything without Josh Allen? And I don't think that they can, Murph. They've been to 4 Super Bowls in a row with Jim Kelly, who's a fantastic quarterback, and they lost every single one of them. I think Josh Allen is absolutely the most valuable player to a franchise by his numbers and by the fact that if you take him out of the equation, this team might not have a winning season.
You're 100% right, dude. And honestly, I brought up Saquon mostly to just have people, like, remember that he's there.
Yeah.
I personally think he should finish second to Josh Allen because I think he was more valuable to the Eagles than Lamar was, personally. But that's the thing is, like, I don't think the voters factor that in enough, that it's not the most outstanding player.
Yeah.
It's the most valuable player. It's the same reason why I argued Francisco Lindor over Shohei Ohtani in baseball this year. Where are the Dodgers without Shohei Ohtani, who only hit this year?
Yeah.
Probably still in the playoffs, maybe even still in the World Series.
Right.
Where are the Mets without Francisco Lindor? A 75-win team. I mean, if that's not an MVP, I don't know what is. And the fact that he almost went 30-30, I think 33 and 29, 29 steals and 33 home runs. But he was the offensive leader. He's been arguably the captain of this team. I would not be shocked if they eventually name him the captain of the team.
Yeah.
But it's the same argument. It's the same reason why I would have picked Lindor over Ohtani. It's the reason why I would say Josh Allen over anybody else. Because Josh Allen just knows how to get the job done. Now, he hasn't been able to win the big one against the Chiefs. Is this year the year? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it was, because he doesn't really have the same type of talent around him. But hell, if you get that man some talent, you find him another top receiver. I mean, they might have found one with Keon Coleman, who had a pretty solid rookie year.
Yeah.
James Cook's been decent at running back. I mean, they're not depleted. You know, they were to start the year, but you also didn't know what you were going to get out of Keon Coleman. You didn't know what you were going to get out of James Cook in a full year. But they've been good, so they've helped. But they still needed Josh Allen to throw them the football and, you know, do the things that he needed to do to win a division and potentially go on to win a championship. I can't get myself to root for the Bills as a Jets fan, although I don't have any problem with them, because I think their fans are awesome, and I'd love to go see a Bills tailgate in person and see Bills Mafia. But I think it's Josh Allen, and it's not that close between anybody else. But I would have Saquon second in that argument. And by the way, just because I know how much you love it, I am passing the happiest place on earth.
There it is.
This world.
There it is. There it is. The happiest place that needs a true wake-up call, for sure. But
you are absolutely right.
A true one. Apparently it didn't hit him in the pocketbook enough that they lost almost $200 billion supporting some things. So with that being said, we're going to take a step aside for a fast break. I'm going to get myself out of trouble. So we're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something that Murph said, which is true, but there's a caveat to it. And I don't think people have been paying enough attention as we continue the Josh Allen factor. There's something that you might need to know about Josh Allen when it comes to winning the big one that he kind of does, but not the way that you might think. That's coming up right after this on Wake Up Call. Stay with us inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McInerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here is a special message from Brian Bruno, owner of Servomation Refreshments Incorporated.
I grew up in the family business, had the experience of working for a national food service company with thousands of employees, and as much as I enjoyed the experience I had, there's something about, owning my own company and being able to change the things I saw wrong with the industry firsthand, which is why I moved back to my hometown in Canastota, New York to launch Servomation. It was back in 2007. When we first started the business in 2007, really you didn't find any machines with credit card readers. There was a lack of variety in machines. You got stuck with basically whatever the vending company wanted to sell that day. There's a lot of inefficiencies in the business, and those were all things that we saw as opportunities, both from a customer level to improve and from an operating level to be more efficient. We've really been at the forefront of introducing retail technology into our space. We were doing self-checkout back in 2009 before it really became a national phenomenon. The whole point of it isn't to just improve the customer experience. It's to make it feel more like a retail environment where people don't have to be afraid of what they're buying behind glass. They don't have to be afraid of not being able to see the ingredients of the packages. It was an easy transaction from that standpoint. If we were to reinvent something, we wanted to make sure what we were making looked and felt more like a deli and not like something that you would traditionally see in a vending machine. I was tired of hearing for years the customers say the wheel of death because the vending machine would circle around with the same tuna salad in it. What we wanted to do was it really change the perception of that food. So allowing customers to touch it, allowing customers to feel the weight of it, allowing customers to see the freshness of it, and also the variety of it really helps them change the perception and ultimately the value of what we bring to them. The point of differentiation you have to make is either in value or the quality. And I think on both of those fronts, Servomation has really, in large part, changed that value system for employees. So they no longer have to worry about bringing their food from home or having to leave their desk during the day and rush out to get back in time for their break to end. We're bringing something that they can count on in their break room every day, and they know it's going to be there, they know it's going to be fresh, and they don't have to worry about it being sold out or something that they don't enjoy. We've also heavily invested in flavored water machine, so you can get a glass of water with a fresh piece of fruit in it, along with bean to cup coffee machine. So there's not a day that goes by we're not surprised when we get customers that call us and say, we didn't know you could do all this. We're really lucky to have a strong group of dedicated employees. Most of our employees have been with us since inception. They're family to us, and people like doing business with people they like and trust. And I think the same thing goes for employees. In a day and an age where there's a lot of corporations that just look at an employee as a number and don't get to know them, that's just not the way I was raised or how I like to do business. So we're a little old-fashioned. We like getting close to our employees. We like knowing how we can help them. We like knowing how we can improve their lives, adjust their schedules, whatever it may be to help improve their quality of life. And we think in the end that makes for a happier employee. We're fortunate enough to have really grown over the last several years, and from Pennsylvania to Massachusetts to Connecticut, we really do have a strong connection, even though we're not in the rooms every day with these employees. There's not one single employee that we feel like we don't know, and certainly we know they can call us at any time, and they're definitely treated as family to us. I wake up every single day really excited to surprise our customers in a good way. The one thing I could tell you is I think that every one of our employees and every one of our customers will continue to be the forefront of every decision we make.
Find out how Servomation can help you and your business by going to servomation.com. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, They are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're gonna be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever gonna have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We are here with Murph. Murph is traveling. I'm still on the road in a way. And so I will be coming back I will be here with you, of course, back in the studios that you're used to seeing. But wherever we go, it's the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. If we're on the road, it's the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. If we're here in my childhood home, it's the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. And of course, when we're back in the studio that you're used to seeing, all that cool stuff that we have where everything in the studio has meaning there, that is also the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and you can go there for new and used vehicles of all different shapes and sizes. The only place that I've gotten a vehicle, and we're talking about over a decade, folks, of going to Great Lakes Honda City, formerly Honda City of Liverpool, and they're open Monday through Saturday. So make sure you get in touch with them today and let them know that DT sent you. So as we are here on Wake Up Call, and Murph is on the road here in Florida, our second home of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media, which includes Wake Up Call. We're continuing the conversation, and I said something before the break that I want to get into. Murph said Josh Allen has struggled to win the big one against the Chiefs, but I want to let known something that you may not know about Josh Allen. He started as a quarterback in the NFL in 2018. The team didn't make the postseason that year. He did not play the Chiefs in the regular season, and the team didn't make the postseason, as I stated. In 2019, they did not play the Chiefs in the regular season or in the postseason. In 2020, they played the Chiefs. It was the first time that Josh Allen had ever gone up against the Chiefs. They lost in the regular season, and they lost in the postseason, going 0-2 that year. And in 2021 and in 2023, they saw the Chiefs in the postseason again. So no, Josh Allen has not beaten the Chiefs in the postseason. He is 0-3 in all of those times that they faced each other since 2020. But since 2020, they have faced the Chiefs in the regular season in 4 straight years. 2020, 2022, 2022, 23, 2023, 24, and 2024, 25. And guess what? Josh Allen's 4-0 against the Chiefs in the regular season. So these are my thoughts. One, I want to let people know that Josh Allen is not 0-3 against the Chiefs. He's 4-1 against the Chiefs in the regular season, 4-0 in the last 4 years, and 0-3 in the postseason. So overall, he is 4-4 against the Chiefs, but 4-0 in the regular season. So that is something of note here. Josh Allen can beat the Chiefs in the regular season, but here's my thing, Murph. Is there a conspiracy going on? Do they play each other in the regular season so that Andy Reid can get everything he needs to know on Josh Allen, and they lose that game, but they beat him in the postseason. So here's my question. One, did you know that he's 4-0 in the last 4 years against the Chiefs in the regular season? And two, would it behoove Buffalo to start losing to the Chiefs in the regular season so that they can beat them in the postseason?
So, yes, I did know that they were 4-0 in the last 4 years in the regular season. I also know that he's 0-3 against them in the postseason.
Yes.
And to be completely honest, that's the one that matters. The regular season means nothing once you get to the postseason. Your seeding is all that matters.
Yeah.
Whoever wins the games is the team that moves on. So Josh Allen just has the yips against the Chiefs in the postseason for whatever reason. And honestly, I don't necessarily think it's him. I mean, one of those games he lost on a coin toss.
Yeah. When they had and they changed the overtime rules in the playoffs because of that game.
Because of that game.
Which is crazy.
That was the best postseason football game, non-Super Bowl, that we've seen in a long time, by the way.
Yeah. I think people would love to see a Chiefs-Bills Super Bowl. We just can't see that.
I know. But I think we're going to see another Chiefs-Bills AFC Championship game, and God, I hope the Bills finally beat. I want somebody to finally beat Kansas City. I do not want to see a three-peat. It would be historic, but I don't want to see it. I don't need to see Mahomes get number 4 this year. If he does, look out, Brady, because he might win 8.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, I said last year that the Chiefs were building a dynasty, and if they won the Super Bowl last year, that it was going to be clearly a dynasty. It is a dynasty already. If they win 3 in a row, and I mean, think about this. Tom Brady is regarded as the greatest quarterback of all time in the NFL, and rightly so. And I didn't say that he was. I waited out a lot longer than others did. Rob Drummond and I both did. But once he went to Tampa, who was like a 2-4 win team, and they won the Super Bowl in his first season there, it truly showed that it wasn't Belichick and Brady. It was maybe a little more Brady. And so, well, it was a lot more Brady. So, like, I was trying to be nice to Bill Belichick. I've been very hard on him over the years. But I haven't been hard on Bill Belichick as far as respecting him as a coach. I've been hard on the fact that he doesn't open his mouth when he speaks. And that little tiny butthole that, like, he puts, like, a few words through. Okay, this is what I said about Bill Belichick. And keep in mind, folks, that I'm going to have the opportunity, by the grace of God, to interview him this year when he's the Tar Heels head coach, is that I said that Bill Belichick is the human epitome of what constipation would look like as a human being. That's what I said. And so if that comes up, I mean, I'll defend why I said it. It's because he doesn't open his mouth when he talks. But, and, you know, obviously when people struggle to go to the bathroom, it's because things aren't, you know, canals are not open. So, I mean, Bill Belichick being that in the speaking world, yes. But, I mean, coaching-wise, I've always respected him. But Tom Brady did it without him. And when he did that, I said, okay, he's the GOAT. You know, he's the GOAT. By the way, before I said he was the GOAT, I said he was like the second best quarterback of all time because I was talking about strictly passing. And when I was talking about passing, I was like, I think Marino threw a better ball. I think a lot of guys threw a better ball than he did, Aaron Rodgers. And I think Justin Herbert throws a beautiful ball. But when we were talking about like strictly throwing the ball, I said he was maybe second. And I got no short of 500 messages on the then Twitter, now X, and I'm sure that my face was probably in Boston bars. And now, you know, saying that he's the greatest of all time after what he did in Tampa, that's clear. But to the point of I'm trying to make here with Pat Mahomes won 2 Super Bowls in like what, his first 3 years in the NFL. And so, I mean, if Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid continue to do this, and they can, and they do it the way that they're doing it in the proximity that they're doing it from season to season, then Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes will have an argument over Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And I firmly believe that the Chiefs can do it. Do I want to personally see it this season as a fan? No, because I want to see Lamar Jackson get it. or I want to see Josh Allen get it. I mean, to me, and this is no offense to the, and I also want to see Dan Campbell and the Lions get it and Jared Goff. So honestly, to me, if the Lions, the Ravens, or the Bills win this year, and this is no offense to any other team out there, and this is not me wishing bad on them, the Lions have never won a Super Bowl, and they've never been to a Super Bowl. The Bills have never won a Super Bowl, and they've been to 4. And the Ravens have already won, but I'd like to see it for Lamar. I mean, my prediction for this going into this postseason was Lions-Bills Super Bowl. And if the Lions and the Bills make it, no matter who wins, we're going to see somebody win a Super Bowl that had never won a Super Bowl before. And if the Lions win, we're going to see somebody that wins their first Super Bowl in the first Super Bowl game that they've ever played in. So I would love to see that personally. The Chiefs are already a dynasty. They're already incredible. I do believe Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes can pass Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. I do think that that's not out of the realm of possibility. I want to remind people that Travis Kelce was a Chief for a very long time before Pat Mahomes came there. So Mahomes is obviously a most valuable player for what he's meant to that team. Their offensive line has struggled. They have not had a clear-cut running back a lot of times outside of Kareem Hunt. They lost Tyreek Hill, and they continue to win. And their defense has been nothing to write home about until maybe recent history. So Pat Mahomes is obviously the most valuable player to that team in many years running here. So the Chiefs have a dynasty. I do think that they could do it. But personally, I would like to see the Lions or the Bills do it. If not that, then the Ravens win it. By the way, the polls that I put up this morning, they have changed. I didn't tell you what they were, and I'm kind of glad that I waited here. The Rams and the Vikings, I asked you who was going to win the last wild card game, which is happening tonight in Arizona due to the wildfires in LA, and we continue to pray for everyone in Los Angeles and in the surrounding areas and all of their loved ones. And this is 50-50 right now. People early on picked the Rams, and now it's 50-50 Rams-Vikings. You could vote on X, the former Twitter @CallDT, that's CALLDT, and you could vote in that poll and in this poll that I'm about to read. If you had to pick between Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, remember, this is strictly the regular season. This has nothing to do with this weekend, nothing to do with both of these teams winning a playoff game. Who is your MVP between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson? 57.1% of you have picked Lamar, 42.9% have picked Josh Allen. And we've said a lot of things about this. So we shall see what's going to happen here as we step forward. But I do want to get into a couple games here, the rest of the games here in the NFL, with Murph, who's on the phone with us before we hop out of it on this Travel Channel edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So with that being said, with Murph and I both on the road, so to speak, let's get into that Bills game. The Broncos have a tremendous defense. They haven't had to score a lot of points against teams because of how good their defense is. However, they now have their quarterback in Bobo Nix. And I love Bobo Nix. And yes, I call him Bobo Nix and not Bo Nix. And why do I do that? I don't know, because I like it and it sounds good when it comes off the tongue. But Bo Nix has been incredible. And Bo Nix, credit to him, he got to the postseason as a rookie. And Oregon got to the postseason without him. Unfortunately, his alma mater of Oregon lost without him, and they lost their first game in the college football playoff this year, and he lost his first game in the NFL playoffs to the Buffalo Bills, who absolutely just trounced all over the Broncos. There was a stampede, but it came from a Buffalo and not from a Bronco. So, Murph, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. As Josh Allen and the Bills, I wanted to see both of these teams win because I like Josh Allen and I like what Buffalo's doing, and I like Denver, and I love that Bo Nix, I predicted he would go to Denver. I predicted he would be the starter. I predicted he would be the second best quarterback of the 2024 class. All of those things came true. So, pardon me, I wanted to see him continue to win, but he ran into a buzzsaw with Buffalo, and I picked the Bills in this game. What are your thoughts on the Bills' 31-7 win?
I think it's kind of sort of what we expected. We saw Buffalo just completely outclass the Broncos, and you feel for them because the Broncos had a nice year with Sean Payton and Bo Nix, and you think that they can definitely, make something of this and build on it, continue to get better as they, brought in some good players. But it was, I don't think it was ever an issue, a conversation that the Bills were going to win this game. The Bills are just the superior team by far. Their defense is better, their offense is better, special teams are better. It didn't take a pair of glasses to see how good that Buffalo Bills team truly is. So all I can say is I'm impressed with what they did. I'm not surprised, and I'm intrigued to see what Buffalo is able to do going forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. They won 31-7. They put on a clinic, essentially, in this game against the Denver Broncos, and they move forward. Now, the Eagles and the Packers, this was an interesting bookend game. What I mean by that is that they started the season against each other, and then one of them would end the season for the other one. So to see each other at the beginning of the season, and then to know that seeing each other at this point in the playoffs, in the wild card, that this would be the end of the season for somebody. That ends up being the Packers. Now, early on in the season, on Friday Night Football in Brazil, we got to see the Eagles face off against the Packers in the battle of who wears green better, essentially. Now, in that game, the Eagles beat the Packers in a shootout, 34-29. In this game, it didn't have to come that far. The Eagles beat the Packers 22-10. Now, things don't start off well in this game when you fumble a kickoff. And the Philadelphia Eagles took care of business in the matchup overall. The Packers did not take care of the ball, and the Packers did not take care of this game. Jordan Love did not throw a touchdown pass. He threw 3 interceptions in the game. Jalen Hurts obviously won because my number and my grandfather's number came up yet again in a game. 213 I saw come up in the college football playoff semi that I was at in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. And as much as I joke about it, I still think it's cool. Jalen Hurts went 13 of 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Green Bay Packers fumbled about 116 times, it felt like. Now, we look at this, and Keyshawn Nixon, he fumbled the ball, and he lost it. Jordan Love recovered his fumble. Tucker Kraft recovered his fumble. Bunch of fumbling going on in this game as the Green Bay Packers, between interceptions and fumbles, when you turn the ball over 3 to 5 times, or more than 3 times, I should say, you're usually not winning the game. And in this case, that was the fact. The Philadelphia Eagles held on to the ball. Saquon Barkley got over 100 yards, 119 yards on 25 carries. Now, Saquon this season in the regular season got over 2,000 yards with 2005. He was 100 yards shy of tying Eric Dickerson, and they sat him in the last game. So he did not pass Eric Dickerson. Keep in mind, Eric Dickerson played less games in a season. So 2005 got to 2,000 yards, Saquon did. We saw that Derrick Henry got to 2,000 here, if you include the NFL wildcard game. Saquon is now over 2,100 yards rushing on the season, and he, like Derrick Henry, has had over 330 carries on the season. Derrick Henry had more touchdowns in the regular season rushing, 16 to Saquon's 13 rushing. And, overall, Saquon has been a tremendous talent to this team. The Giants fans are pissed. Giants fans were so mad that when Murph and I were in Philly for the Fishtown card show, they were getting rid of Saquon cards for peanuts. Good cards. Cards that are valuable, because they were so mad. If I was a Giants fan, I wouldn't get back by getting rid of my card for peanuts. I'd get back at charging Philly fans double for those Saquon cards. And it's no offense to the Philly fans whatsoever, but if I'm pissed off that Saquon left my team, the least I'm going to get is money for my cards, and I'm joking about charging double. I'm just saying, if I'm at the Fishtown Card Show in Philadelphia and Philly fans want rookie patch autos of Saquon Barkley and rookie cards and graded cards and autographed cards and numbered cards, I'm not giving them away for peanuts. I'm making sure that those prices are going to give me a good value on getting that card, because that card might have been worth not a lot a few years ago, but it's worth a lot of money now. And to the credit of that, my Saquons are gone. You know, my rookies, I think all my rookies are gone, and I believe that I brought those out to the Fishtown Card Show. So I don't know why people were getting rid of those Saquon Barkley cards for peanuts because they were mad. If I'm upset, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I price those cards right so I get money so I can use that money, those $20 and $50 bills, to wash my tears after seeing Saquon Barkley have 2,000 yards rushing in the same division for a different team. Murph, enlighten us on the card world and on the fact that Saquon and the Eagles are moving on 22-10 victors, and the Giants have one of the top picks in the draft because without Saquon Barkley, their best player of many years, they have been next to nothing without the man.
Yeah, I mean, the market's been interesting. I'm not really investing in any of the big quarterbacks right now. I'm kind of just getting a bunch of stuff of the rookies. All right, like I said, I'm buying a bunch of Prism and base cards of the rookies, grading them, hoping that they 10, and trying to sell them as fast as humanly possible. This way I don't get stuck with them. I think Eagles fans are in love with Saquon, naturally. Mm-hmm. I think they want Eagles Saquon stuff. I don't know if there really are any Eagles autos of Saquon yet, but wouldn't be shocked if one comes out here in the near future. But it's been fun. I mean, I don't really think I'm going to be doing a whole heck of a lot of shows anytime soon because with work now and starting to get busy with that. But I know for a fact that I will be at the next Philly show. And our next show, Pocono show, I haven't told you yet, so I guess I'll tell everybody. Our next Pocono show is going to be March 22nd. Same location at Jackson Township Firehouse. Same time, 10 to 4. It's going to be free admission. And if the first one was an indication of anything, it is going to be a blast. So we have that. We'll have that coming up in a couple of months. Really looking forward to that again. But I'm just looking forward to continuing to buy, sell, and trade, and I just enjoy it. Sometimes you find people that you can make good deals with, and you do it often enough that you have a great time doing it. I got friends that we do trade nights with all the time, and when we see each other, usually once every 2 weeks or so, we have a good time, and maybe we don't get a ton of deals done, but we have some fun while we're doing it.
Yeah. And so Saquon, if the market is out there for him, I know some people are excited about Mr. Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, I'm going to say it again, as well as Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen should all win Offensive Player of the Year, and then MVP goes to Josh Allen because he is the most valuable player on offense to a team this season, in my opinion. Now, we're going to take our final step aside. When Murph and I come back, we'll go to the college football playoff. I was wrong. Ohio State and Notre Dame, I did not see in them what some people saw in them. Murph has been high on Ohio State, been high on Penn State, and, Notre Dame, I think, relatively has, I don't want to say shocked us, but after losing to Northern Illinois in that second week, and they've won every game since, it's been really interesting, the story of Notre Dame. It's also been really interesting that Notre Dame has not found a quarterback in high school or prep school. They saw the Wake Forest grow a quarterback who I spent time interviewing in Sam Hartman, and then they took him in the transfer portal. And then they saw Duke grow a quarterback in Riley Leonard, and then they took him. So they've been really, really good at using the ACC as a farm system. So we will talk about Notre Dame. We will talk about Ohio State. We will talk about the fact that both of these teams I underestimated this year. I'm very excited for that. And like Murph said, he was willing to be wrong about Lamar. I'm willing to be wrong about Ohio State and Notre Dame because I think it's brought us a fantastic championship game. I think that this is and in my head, this is a Big Ten championship game because Notre Dame, in my brain, for a lot of reasons, is a Big Ten team. So seeing what we've seen here unfold, Murph and I will discuss the Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish and how a week from today, your boy will be on the road back in Atlanta for the national championship in the college football playoff. I have been in round 1. I have been in the quarterfinal. I've been in the semis, and I will be at the national championship by the grace of God. I thank God first for allowing me to live my dreams every day. I thank hard work, dedication, and determination, and belief, and confidence, and courage, and perseverance to always go, no matter how many people said stop. And I want to thank the College Football Playoff. Of course, I want to thank the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. I want to thank Penn State for having me on campus. I want to thank Atlanta, Georgia, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Peach Bowl Inc., and everybody with Atlanta and everything going on down there. And again, I want to thank the College Football Playoff for allowing me the opportunity to cover them both on-site and remotely since their institution in this last decade. And I want to thank them more than anything for this year for allowing me to be a part of every single round in the historic, will only happen once, 12-team playoff in the first year of the 12-team playoff. So thank you to the College Football Playoff and believing in my company, my brand, and my work. And thank you to all the good people along the way that have helped with that and every outlet that's done that. With that being said, we'll take a step aside, and Murph and I will talk about Ohio State Notre Dame right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there, and of course you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100, and also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. If you hear the energy in my voice, it's because it's my favorite sports card and trading card shop. It's a place that makes me feel like a big kid. Honestly, I could go there every single day. Now, good for me, it's Monday today, and they're closed on Monday, so I have to take a break. But I will be, speaking of a break, I'll be doing 2 breaks today, a pack break and a box break. Those are both going to be happening today. Murph will tell you, he'll say, how the heck did you have the self-control to not open this stuff? Because it's been sitting in my house, but I've waited, and one of them has an opportunity for something that I really wanted. I don't want to say it out loud because I'm hoping that I get it, but pay attention to our social media because I'm going to be opening the box and the pack today. I got a jumbo pack, which is football related, and I got a box, which is basketball related. I'm very excited about it. GG Cards and Breaks, the best place to go for singles, packs, boxes, as well as all your sports card supplies, all your trading card supplies, graded cards, rookie cards, rookie patch autos, autograph cards, one of one. So many cool things at GG Cards and Breaks. You got to get out there. Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6. Sundays, 10 to 5. Guess what? This week, on Thursday, January 16th, where's your boy going to be? Where am I going? To the Wildcat Sports Pub. Why? Because 4 times a year, once each season, spring, summer, fall, winter, we go with our trade nights for GG Cards and Breaks. That trade night goes to the Wildcat Sports Pub, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. I've been under the weather. I'm hoping that my body feels better, my throat feels better, because your boy needs to get his grub on at the Wildcat. I love being around the good people. I got a lot of cards at the beginning of the season, early in the season, and I've held on to them. Got numbered cards, rookie cards, a lot of great stuff. Just did a huge box break over there and got a ton of great cards. I'm going to be bringing them to the show. I'm going to be bringing them out to trade night. I can't wait to see you there this Thursday. I'm unveiling these cards for the first time for some of them. For other ones, I'm bringing them out of the vault for Wake Up Call. So make sure you come out and see us. 6 p.m. We're starting a half an hour early. 6 to 9:30 at the Wildcat. This Thursday, January 16th, GG Cards and Breaks trade night. Great food, great people, great community. Can't wait to see you out there. Awesome stuff. Very much looking forward to it. Sad that Murph can't be there, but he's down in Orlando doing his thing, and I'm very happy for that. So with that being said, head to GG Cards and Breaks on Teal, right off of Teal Ave, 639 Delmar Place, Tuesday through Sunday. And, of course, go to trade night this Thursday, January 16th. Remember, this month it's not at the store. It's at the Wildcat, 3680 Milton Avenue in Camillus, New York. With that being said, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora coming to you from inside of these beautiful Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard. And you will find them right there in Liverpool, open Monday through Saturday. So make sure you make your way over to Great Lakes Honda City. Let them know the DT sent you. We love that they are our exclusive studio partner. And now it's time, speaking of a partner, Murph's my partner, right? Brendan, me, Mondays, Murph Mondays, DT and Murphy. We're here on Wake Up Call. We have fun with one another. Sometimes Murph is right. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes we're both right. Sometimes we're both wrong. And in the case of Ohio State and Notre Dame, Murph has challenged me on Notre Dame, and he's challenged me on Ohio State, Penn State, the Big Ten. And this year he was right. This year they came through. Notre Dame's been in the college football playoff 2 years prior to this season, and they didn't show up. Ohio State's had a lot of opportunities in the college football playoff, and they won the first one over Oregon. Some interesting kind of fact about Ohio State and Oregon is Oregon's only been in the college football playoff twice, and both times Ohio State was the team that knocked them out. The first time for a championship in the first ever college football playoff, and this last time in the historic 12 so both in historic moments, right? The first ever college football playoff, and then this year when Ohio State beat Oregon in the first ever 12-team college football playoff. So Murph has banged the drum of the Big Ten, and this year it worked out. he also said, hey, that loss to Northern Illinois, okay, it wasn't good, but let's not count out Notre Dame. And he was right about that. So I've never told you that these teams were bad. I've never told you they stink. I've never told you they can't win. I've made statements on factual evidence, and historically, over time, I have been right about Notre Dame. Why are they in there? Yeah, they have this record, but look at the results. Ohio State, more often than not, look at the results. This year, I'm proud to say that I was wrong about Ohio State and about Notre Dame. Why am I proud? Because I respect what these coaches have done. I respect the caliber of locker room that these coaches have helped to create, not just the head coach, but the coaching staffs. Riley Leonard is someone I consider a friend, even though it's been a minute since we've talked. We've texted a little bit. So I'm happy for Riley. Will Howard and his praise of Jesus, Jack Sawyer and his praise of Jesus and of God, I love seeing it. My goodness, watching Henderson and Judkins and just watching the defense of Ohio State. And I was concerned. I was nervous about that defense of Ohio State and Penn State in this college football playoff for anybody. And as much as I picked Texas in my final college football playoff bracket, something in my gut said, man, Ohio State might be the most dangerous team out there. Whether I want to admit it or not, they might be the team that wins it all. So that was a thought in my head. I didn't put it on paper, so I'm not going to give myself credit for that because I didn't write it down on paper. But I'm not surprised that Ohio State has matched.
I can verify he said it.
Yeah, because I've said it. I just didn't write it. And on that side of it, I'm really happy that Ohio State's here because I think that they've earned the right to be there. And then Notre Dame on their side, they've earned the right. Now, granted, what did I say when Notre Dame played Indiana? I said, great. One of these two teams that I've argued, like I said, Notre Dame shouldn't have a 7 seed. I wouldn't have put them that high of a seed because the highest you can get for an at-large is a 5. And I said I wouldn't put them as high as a 7, so I don't agree with that. And I don't agree that Indiana's in it. I didn't discount Notre Dame for being in it, but I said I wouldn't give them a 7 this year. And I definitely would not have put Indiana in. But thankfully, one of these teams is going to knock the other one out, is what I said. Notre Dame beat Indiana. I'm not surprised. I think anybody in the field would have beaten Indiana. That is not me trying to knock Indiana. It is not a hatred for Indiana. I have never said a bad word about Indiana. I want to be clear about that in this PC world that changes every second what PC is, and I really could care less. Indiana was 11-1, and they beat 11 unranked teams. And obviously, they were put in their place by Notre Dame. Now, that win by Notre Dame over Indiana, I didn't really count as like a massive win. I was like, okay, good for them. But again, I thought Indiana was the weakest team in the field of the college football playoff. I thought Army should have earned the right to get that butt whooping, in the famous words of my partner for Tortora and Elford, Isaac Elford. So fast forward, Notre Dame wins. When they beat Georgia, I came out and said, before you open your mouth and say they only beat Georgia because Carson Beck wasn't there, stop and give respect to Notre Dame. Carson Beck doesn't play defense and Carson Beck doesn't play special teams. I said that. Now, do I think the game might have been different? Yeah, maybe. Have I been a Carson Beck fan all season? No. Do I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in college football? No. Not necessarily. There's other guys that I would probably put on my team before I put Carson Beck on my team. I don't discredit what he means to the team. I just wasn't a guy that was like, oh my gosh, yeah, Carson Beck, Heisman, give it to him. And obviously he wasn't in the running for the Heisman. So when I looked at that Georgia game, I said, if they beat Georgia, who has really danced with losses all season, and I go back to that Kentucky game, which is a really ugly 13-12 baseball game that they played on a football field. They beat Georgia, and I said, don't take anything away from Notre Dame. With or without Carson Beck, they won that game fair and square, and they won it because they absolutely decapitated, debilitated, and demoralized the defense of Georgia. So give credit to Riley Leonard, and give credit to that rushing attack, and give credit to that team. Then Notre Dame goes and they play Penn State. And I told you when I went to Penn State, I will never see Penn State the same again. They say sometimes you got to see it to believe it. They say sometimes that, you can think something about something, but until you experience it, you don't really know. Well, I'm going to firmly tell you, I never said that Penn State fans don't come to games. I never said they don't pack it. I've never said that it's not an arena that doesn't have a lot of screaming people, because it seems like it did from afar. But I'm going to say this about Penn State, and I thank Brendan for his patience in this long intro. I want to say this about Penn State, and I want to echo what I said a couple weeks ago. If the South is where football lives, then State College, Pennsylvania must have a Southern zip code. Because the amount of people that show up to those games, the way that the arena is, the whiteout, the loudness, the connection to their team, the quality of atmosphere. I have been to a lot of places by the grace and wonderfulness of God. I am going to put Happy Valley Beaver Stadium up against every MLB, NFL, college football, college basketball, NBA arena I've been in as one of the most electrifying arenas that had one of the biggest impacts on me personally as a broadcaster. I will never see Penn State the same again. I want to go back. Selfishly, I want to go back once a year. Maybe Murph will go with me. And
I think I'm already going to the whiteout, so we might be able to arrange that.
yeah. But it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, not my sports life, of my life. I respect the fan base more. I respect James Franklin more. I respect that team overall and the coaching staff more. I respect the stadium more. I respect the pageantry more. And I respect this year's team more. And even though they've lost, Penn State did not lose in my heart of hearts and in my mind. James Franklin and that team have no reason to hang their heads. I am absolutely had a change of heart with Penn State, I guess you could say, of sorts. A change of mind, let's say. And I've never discounted their history. I've never discounted their success in the NFL. And I've never discounted that they're a good team. I've just said that their schedule, I would rather have their schedule at times than other schedules around the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 and some other teams that are out there. That's what I've said. I've said that I haven't seen them prove it as much as I've seen other teams had to go through a gauntlet. And a 3-loss SEC team, to me, arguably has been challenged more than Penn State this season. But with all of that being said, I will never see them the same again. I respect them. I have a lot of love for them. And in all honesty, I was really sad when they lost. Not that I was unhappy for Notre Dame, but I don't think there was a team that you could be mad at for winning that game. I think Penn State and Notre Dame this year have played such a quality of football that's only gotten better. Defensively, they are really stout. And they really put on a clinic, both of them. And then offensively, what they've done. Think about how many times the ball was an interception. Was it an interception? I mean, that game was so highly contested defensively that it was so exciting to watch. And then on the other side with Ohio State, Texas, I was like, okay, what's this going to be? Austin's a couple hours away, right? So Austin's a couple hours away, the state capital of Texas, which, by the way, I did not know. I would have said Dallas, but Austin's the state capital. And the Texas Longhorn fans, I'm like, all right, they're going to show up. But I said to myself, I am not going to discount or discredit the ability for Ohio State fans to show up. And I'm really happy that my thought going in was, please don't be surprised, because I took a picture, and y'all saw it on my social media, and they were dispersed all throughout the stadium, but I took a picture of where I was sitting in the Ohio State end zone up in the press box, and on the left side, it was highly burnt orange, and on the right side, it was highly red. And I was like, this looks like Congress. And shout out to Ohio State for getting there and showing up. It was a split arena. I don't think any fan base had the advantage. I would say maybe Texas a little bit at times by the loudness of it. I don't know what it sounded like on TV. But from being in the arena, it was pretty split. And I said to myself in the first half, I was like, I think it was in the first half. It was in the first half or like somewhere early in the second half where I said, I think the score is going to be 28-14, but I didn't know who was going to win. Murph yelled at me after, and he was like, if you knew the score, you should have called me so I could put money on it. But something in my head said 28-14. Now, am I surprised that Ohio State won? No. Did I pick Texas at the beginning of the college football playoff? Yes. So I was going to ride them till the wheels fell off because that's who I picked. And they were still in the Final Four. So I was like, okay, you know what? But something inside of my heart and in my gut was like, Dan, you're going into a game where you're not going to be surprised if Ohio State wins this game. Jack Sawyer had the longest fumble return for a touchdown in college football playoff history in its 10 plus years. So shout out to Jack Sawyer. And he honored God before anything. Shout out to that above all, because God is the one above all. Texas had good moments, but they were few and far between. Ohio State played a good game. Texas had a few good moments. So, Murph, I know that I've long set this up, but congratulations to you for being right this season on the Big Ten. And credit to you for seeing the value in Ohio State and Penn State making this Final Four. I'd love to get your thoughts on a heavily defensive back-and-forth Penn State Notre Dame brawl, and then really what I consider an Ohio State game where they had the momentum the majority of the game against Texas.
Well, Penn State, as we know, was a team that has always struggled to win the big game under James Franklin. He's won in, I don't even know what anymore, against top 5 AP ranked teams or top 5 ranked teams. And Notre Dame obviously was one of those as well, and they just couldn't get the job done. And it's a shame because that Penn State team is probably one of the most talented ones I've ever seen in my lifetime. And watching Drew Aller just struggle to throw the football really was hard to watch.
Yeah.
It was to the point where they took the ball out of his hands, and he wasn't throwing it anymore at all. He didn't complete a pass to a wide receiver the entire game. Everything was to a tight end or a running back. Screens, dinks and dunks. And he got bailed out on interceptions twice by pass interference calls that negated them. And then the interception that he throws at the end of the game, Penn State gets the ball back. Notre Dame, they knock Notre Dame out of field goal range. They had to punt. Penn State gets the ball back. The one thing you cannot do in that situation is turn the ball over. They tried to run that same little route to Tyler Warren. They'll fake in and go out probably 5 times. Every single time Notre Dame was all over it. Mm-hmm. Drew Aller didn't know what to do after that. So they cover it again. And then Drew Aller makes a stupid throw over the middle, and he throws an interception. It's one of those things where you sit back and look, and you're like, what was he thinking? And, he was probably thinking, I can move my team closer to field goal range and make a play. But at the same time, that whole play brings me back to when Brett Favre threw that horrible interception against the Saints in the NFC Championship game back in, I think it was 2009 or 2010, maybe. I don't remember.
I think it was 2009. Are you talking about? You're talking about the game where I had I had the team winning at almost the exact score if Peyton Manning had thrown a touchdown on that play.
Yes. Yeah. It was. I think it was 2009. But you think back to Paul Allen's call of that obviously he's a huge Vikings fan as their announcer, and I think he's one of the most fun announcers in football. But you think back and hear that call and how frustrated he got as a fan. Brett Favre could have ran for a first down there. Same situation with Drew Aller. He had room to run. Or he could have just taken a sack.
Yeah.
You could go to overtime. There's no reason not to. You guaranteed to get the ball at least once. You could get the ball back. What? I don't know what you're unless it's absolutely perfectly wide open, there's no reason to throw that football. And I've been, tooting his horn, Drew Allar's horn all year, and I've been thinking he's great. Had he entered the draft, I still thought he would have been one of the best quarterbacks in that draft. But it's going to be hard for me to forget that interception.
Yeah.
The decision he made, the throw itself, it should have never come to that.
Before you go to your next point, I want to kind of devil's advocate this thing for a second. Drew Aller, to me, hasn't wowed me offensively. Now, I'm not going to state that I watched them through the regular season, and that I knew a lot about him before I really saw him in that SMU game, because I didn't. So I'm not going to say that I did. Now, the SMU game and the Notre Dame game were very, and this is why I wanted to make the point, not to interrupt what you're saying in the recap of how you saw these two games in the semis of the college football playoff, but I want to keep the conversation going on Drew Aller here for a second. In the SMU game and in the Notre Dame game, they're very, very similar for Drew Aller and his lack of moving the offense. And this is not a Drew Aller hate show. I'm bringing up a point here that I'll get to in a second. They beat SMU in the first round of the college football playoff. Penn State's first ever trip to the college football playoff, first ever game in the college football playoff, first ever win in the college football playoff, and the 100th win of James Franklin's career at Penn State. So a lot of good stuff happened in that game. But Drew Aller was 13 of 22, 127 yards, 59.1% completion percentage, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Against Notre Dame, 12 for 23, 135 yards. So that's almost carbon copy of the SMU game. 52.2% completion percentage is worse than the SMU game. No passing touchdowns and an interception. In the game against Boise State, he was only 13 of 25. So he was 13 of 22 against SMU. With 3 more pass attempts against Boise State, he was worse, 13 of 25, 171 yards, a little bit better, 52% completion percentage, but he did have 3 touchdowns to no interceptions. So in the college football playoff, we never saw Drew Aller pass for 60%. We saw him at 52% 2 out of the 3 games. And we never saw him complete more than 13 passes in 22-plus attempts in each of those games. And in 2 of those 3 games, he did not have a passing touchdown. So for all intents and purposes, the point I'm trying to make is the point that I made when I was at Happy Valley. This defense carried this team throughout the college football playoff. Your thoughts?
The defense was definitely really good. And we knew that going into the playoff that their defense was really good. But, watching Drew Aller almost all year, I saw, a quarterback that was making good decisions, making good passes. And a lot of times it would hit the receivers in the hands and they drop it.
Yeah.
Penn State did not have a good group of receivers this year. It was basically Tyler Warren and the running backs. And that was it. So, yeah, it kind of showed in his stats a little bit. But you're 100% right. In the SMU game, he really didn't need to do anything.
Yeah, they
because
ran the
it was
ball.
a blowout.
Yeah.
So I kind of give him a little bit of a pass for that one because he didn't really need to do anything. He was much better in the quarterfinal game against Boise State. And then Notre Dame, he came out and did not throw the ball well to the point where they stopped throwing the ball altogether. So Notre Dame knew the run was coming. So it wasn't hard to stop. So if you think of it that way, how do you stop a team or how do you go against a team where they know exactly what you're doing? They're just going to sell out for the run, and they did that in the second half. So credit to Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame for catching on to that and making the plays when they needed to. But I still like Drew Aller. I think Drew Aller's still going to be, still could be a good quarterback at the next level. But he's got some things that he's got to figure out. He's got to get things sorted out throwing the ball. He had a really poor day throwing the ball. He wasn't hitting his targets, and when he was, they were, not the best passes, and they were getting dropped. Now, granted, The pass that he threw, I think it was to Singleton, the running back. That one right on the goal line that he dropped, was it a good pass? No. Should it have been caught? Yeah, probably. That was a walk-in touchdown. I mean, that would have been the difference in the game there, too. I mean, also the fumble right before halftime that Penn State couldn't recover, that cost them 3 points, and again, that was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do when you're in that situation? When you're a quarterback and you just can't complete a pass, you try to do too much. Hence the interception at the end of the game. But I all the credit to Notre Dame. They played their game. They did what they needed to do. But as for Penn State, it's a disappointment, and they're getting a lot of pieces back. They are still losing some pieces.
Drew Aller's coming back.
Obviously, Tyler Warren's going to the NFL.
They'll have Aller back.
Aller's staying.
Yep.
Looks like both the running backs are going to probably be staying. They're not losing a ton on the offensive line. They lose who's the defensive player that was playing with a shoulder injury.
Abdul Carter.
Yep, they lose Abdul Carter. They lose Tyler Warren. Those are their big two losses. They'll probably both be first-round picks.
Probably.
But other than that, they've still got, plenty of pieces that they can use to build towards next year.
Yeah,
I still think that team is going to be good enough to win next year. So I'm interested to see what they do going forward.
And I don't discredit that at all. I think with a lot of pieces coming back, Penn State can be formidable next year. And I do want to, Drew Aller, just looking at the numbers, like I said, the reason why I brought up those numbers are not to discredit or bring down Drew Aller. It's to say that I want to see more, which is what I've said off the air to Murph many times. I think every conversation we've had in the last 3 weeks, I've told you I want to see more from Drew Aller. And the fact that he's coming back, I'm happy for him. I'm excited for him. I think this is going to be a good year for him. And I think we're going to see him grow. Because keep in mind, he is going into his senior season, but he wasn't the starter in his first season. He's only been the starter his last two. So he is
He's also very young.
Right.
He's a true junior this year.
Right. So he's a junior this year. He's only been a starter for 2 years. But this isn't like a COVID guy that's 6 years in. It's not this guy that's been redshirted in medical and this and that, whatever. So, I think it's going to behoove Drew Aller to spend some more time. And I'm excited to see what his draft stock will be in 2026. And then to the other side of it with Abdul Carter, I don't want to take anything away from anybody that played Penn State. Abdul Carter not being out there for every defensive snap, Murph, we got to say, if we both think he's a first-round pick, there's something to the fact that this man's been nursing an injury, and now he's got time to heal. I don't think it helps Penn State when that guy's got to go off the field. You know what I mean?
Massive credit to him for playing through that injury, because there were plays where you saw him go jog off the field. You could tell he was in pain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you see him favoring that shoulder, and he was on... he was going up against the left side of the right side of the offensive line to try to, not have to worry about that, use that left shoulder too much. So he was doing what he had to try and, help his team win a football game.
Yeah. So, we'll see Penn State moving forward, but a lot of respect earned here on the show. Not that they need it, because they don't. They got a good leader in James Franklin, and I can see why now. I can see why, even through the Sandusky stuff and through losing money and losing scholarships and being put on probation, I can still see why people committed to Penn State going through all that hell that Penn State was going through for their very tragic and horrific history. And I pray for everyone involved. And I pray for the soul of Jerry Sandusky that he apologized to God and it makes right with that. One of the most horrific things that you can ever do on this planet is to injure or attack or endanger a child. And there's a lot of child endangerment that's going on right now. And I don't think people fully understand that. I know Tim Tebow's working hard at it. and I know that there's other people that are trying to put out the information on this. Jim Caviezel with the movie Sound of Freedom, which I saw multiple times. So I thank people like that for doing what we're doing. We have to do more. And I would love to help in any way that I can, because child endangerment is a horrific, horrific thing. Any type of endangerment is. But the amount of emotion that I have toward that is... Because I mean, listen, we were all kids once, right? And some people listening are kids. And I would like to think we're a family show. And there's moments where I could be better as a person. You know, sometimes you let your energy get the best of you in certain moments, not in a good way. But we are a family show, and I know that there's kids that have watched and listened to the show that are like 4, 5, 9 years old. So what happened at Penn State is disgusting, and people might think I'm crazy for praying for the soul of Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky and everybody involved. But I do, because if we don't pray for the perpetrators and we only pray for the victims, there will always be victims. I'm going to say that again. If we only pray for the victim and never for the perpetrator, there will always be victims. Because you have to pray for the perpetrators to stop perpetrating, right? You have to pray for them to find goodness, a change of heart, to find God, to find remorse, to ask for forgiveness. The devil is never going to win the world. The only way the devil fights God is by, at the end of everything, when God is sitting at a table with all of his kids, which we are, if there's empty seats. That's all the devil's trying to do. People think that God and the devil are waging a war. God won that war. Remember, God created the devil. He created Lucifer, who was supposed to be an archangel. So God is going to win. God already has won. God wins every day. Where the devil is trying to poke at God is by making sure there's empty seats at the table. So why do I pray for Jerry Sandusky and Joe Paterno and any criminal out there? It's not because I agree with what they do. It's not because I'm happy with what they do. I am very much on the other side. It is that I don't want empty seats at God's table. And James Franklin, with everything that happened that came out about Penn State and their history that he had nothing to do with, I thought he was going to suffer. And I thought that team was going to suffer. And people continued to commit to him. And there were guys, got offers from Syracuse, got offers from Penn State, and I spoke to those guys. They loved James Franklin. They loved being in front of him. It sounded like if you sat down face-to-face with James Franklin in a room, you were going to commit to him. So I've never discredited that. Because in a time where it would have been easy to not commit to Penn State, he still got people to commit and sign and go and win. And I credit them for that. By the way, I was also really pissed off a few years ago when Penn State was held out of the college football playoff and they were considered the 5th best team. I was really pissed about that. So to look at Penn State and what
the year they had the 2 losses and they beat Ohio State.
Yeah, it was within the last.
Won the Big Ten.
Yeah, it was within the past few years where I said, how, and again, that was one of those moments where I'm sitting here saying, why are Ohio State and Michigan held above Penn State when Penn State has done things where they've had success? So, you know, I was very sad for them that year. I'm sad for them this year. I'm happy for Notre Dame. But I just wanted to make a point about Drew Aller, about Abdul Carter, and about James Franklin before I handed it back to you. So I apologize for the interruption, but I now give you back I want to give it back to you, Murph. I was on site for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, and of course, this is a game that you were paying attention to as well. And I'd love to get through your eyes and ears Ohio State, Texas. And I know you're not surprised that Ohio State won, but if you were surprised in how the game went and just kind of your overall thoughts.
I was kind of surprised that it wasn't competitive for the most part. Well, at least in the second half. I knew Ohio State was hot. I knew they were coming in. They were going to be good. I didn't like Quinn Ewers. I never have. I never will. I didn't think he was going to do all that well, you know, with Texas. I thought Texas' only chance was to start Arch Manning. But that Ohio State team is just a juggernaut right now. Like, that team just knows how to win football games. That, I'm telling you, dude, we talked about that Northern Illinois loss for Notre Dame, and we've talked about the Michigan loss for Ohio State. Those two teams got kicked in the mouth, and it woke them up. We awoke we awoke two sleeping giants. That is a huge problem for the rest of college football. Having to deal with Notre Dame, after losing Northern Illinois, hasn't lost since. And Ohio State, who all they needed to do is win one game against Michigan to make it to the Big Ten championship game, and they lose. And they didn't just lose, they got embarrassed. That was the game that woke Ohio State up. We awoke a sleeping giant. You can't do that. You get a team like that gets kicked in the mouth because they take a team lightly. That's not the team you want to play. If I'm Notre Dame, I am, shaking in my boots right now, waiting to see what Ohio State's going to give us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, and people were saying this to me going into this weekend, and I don't want to discredit. And this, before when Notre Dame won, it was after Notre Dame had won. They said whoever wins Ohio State, Texas, like that's the championship. That's the real college football playoff. Whoever wins is going to absolutely destroy Notre Dame. I didn't like that take because I don't respect it. I mean, listen, do I think, okay, brass tacks, total honesty, feet to the fire, when I look back at my final bracket prediction pre-first round of the college football playoff for the entire bracket, I go back to that moment on stage at Pizza Man Pub when my guy Jeff Cookie Cook and my guy Al Romano, who knows what it's like to win a national championship, he did it with the Pittsburgh Panthers and Tony Dorsett. So being there at Pizza Man, love the Delia family, love Pizza Man, suggest you should all go out there. We'll be there at the end of the month, by the way, with boys basketball, 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville, New York. I'm so hungry right now, so it's really a bad time for me to mention this, but it's lunchtime, and so I'm going to tell you this because not that you can go over there right now, but make sure you make your way over to Pizza Man for some dinner time. Sweet heat pizza with Mike's Hot Honey, those little pepperonis that like kind of come up in a cup, meatball, arugula, and get some of those wings, the extra crispy lemon peppers. By the way, I brought Murph all over Central New York. He went to Pizza Man. So
wings were great. Oh my goodness.
And Murph for people
not too crispy, not too slimy. Like they were really good.
And to let everybody know, Murph is a traditionalist, so he got those, those mild, his mild wings. He liked
barbecue, actually.
Oh no, you did get barbecue, didn't you? Because you like barbecue.
Yeah, because even mild's a little hot for me.
Yeah, so you got barbecue, and we got some pizza, but Murphalation for the nation. Had a good time at Pizza Man. So I want to say something.
We watched. What was it? I think last year it was the Georgia Alabama game we watched there. SEC championship.
Oh man, I'm trying to think back to this. So
I think that's what it was because it was the day before Selection Sunday.
Okay. Then probably. So, but yeah, because you came up in.
Yeah, we went to the mega show. That's
because you came at the what? It was the end of February.
That was December.
Or not this. Wait, hold on. I got to think now.
That was beginning of December. That was right around the time of when they announced the playoff. It was the day before.
Oh.
I think
Yeah, you threw me off when you said Selection Sunday. I was thinking about the tournament. So yeah, you did come.
Selection Sunday.
Yeah, you did come up. Okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember what games were on, but Murph and I were.
They had I think they had the Tulane and Memphis on.
They did have Tulane on.
Alabama, Georgia.
They had Tulane. Yeah.
Whatever conference championship games were on that Saturday.
I think I remember Tulane.
I think I drove up that morning.
Yeah, because we did the Collector Fest mega show.
The show the next day.
Yeah, because that was like December 3rd or something.
Yeah, it was early in the month.
So we were at Pizza Man, getting back to Pizza Man, which is fantastic. So when I was on stage with Al Romano and Cookie, I have not released this thought in this full thought until right now. When I was picking my bracket and I said Oregon is ripe for a loss, I really sat there and I was like, man, if I don't pick Ohio State, these people that haven't heard me right for years are going to go, oh, he hates the Big Ten. That's why he's not picking them. And so, but something inside of me, I was like, man, Oregon's ripe for a loss. But I was like, I don't know. I think they're going to win a game. But then I was sitting there going, man, Ohio State. And I haven't let out this thought until right now. And hand to God, I sat there next to Cookie and Romano, and I thought to myself, like, I don't know if Georgia can win this because they don't have Carson back. And I sat there and I thought, I was like, Texas and Ohio State, Dan. Like, if Ohio, like that, those are the, I was like Texas and Ohio State. And then they ended up playing each other. But I was like, Texas and Ohio State. I just, if Ohio State wins this whole thing, you're going to be sitting here shaking your head like you're doing right now on air. So, I mean, am I surprised? No. I love that. I love that there's God on both sides. I love that Will Howard and Riley Leonard praise God. I love that there's guys on the team in general that praise God. I love that Jahdae Barron, when the press conference was over for Texas, Jahdae Barron stayed sitting down, and he asked everybody to sit there and listen to him talk about God. And the entire room was silent. And I hope that people that don't believe in God got moved by it. I got moved by it enough to send him a private message and thank him for it. And I would talk to Jahdae Barron that day. I talked to Jahdae Barron about a week before when they were in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. I spoke with him about God and faith. And by the way, this is one of the coolest moments, if not the coolest moment of me for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. I met a couple that supports Texas. And they have like grandkids that go to Texas, and they drove up from Austin to the game. And so I was talking to them because I was waiting for the elevator, and we just started talking. I said, I own my own business. They were like, oh, who do you work for? I said, me. They're like, who do you outsource to? I was like, me. And I mean, technically, I guess I outsource to the rest of the media since they steal my stuff and don't give me any credit. But I mean, that'd be nice to, have my name put on that, just since I do that, if I take a picture from someone, they don't ask me to, but I put their name on the picture and whatnot. So I was talking to this couple, and we just started talking about Texas. We talked about faith. They asked me who I picked. I told them I picked Texas from the beginning. They were excited about that, which is honesty because my bracket's out there. You could check it. And then I looked at the woman, and I looked at the woman and the gentleman, and I said, I was talking to her, and we were on the elevator, and I said, that question about faith to head coach Steve Sarkisian, quarterback Quinn Ewers, and defensive back Jahdae Barron. I said, that was my question. And her eyes lighten up. She goes, it was? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, wow. She's like, really? And I was like, yeah. And then she tapped her husband, and I told him, and he looked at me. He moved the stuff that was in his right hand to his left hand. He put his hand out, and he shook my hand. And that was the greatest moment of the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, was talking about faith and then being able to tell them. I was like, that was my question. And they're like, that was? And just like to see that love for God that they have too. And then to talk to Will Howard and Jack Sawyer after, and to hear their love for God, and then to hear it reiterated with Quinn Ewers and Jahdae Barron once again after I asked them the question about a week ago. So, I mean, I've been spoiled. People, well, Dan, you didn't have Ohio State and Notre Dame. Are you going to this game angry? No, because those are the people that misheard me and misrepresented what I said. And so, am I mad? No, I got a big smile on my face. Did I pick Texas to win it all? Yeah. Have I been right on a bunch of predictions? Yeah. Have I been wrong on a bunch of predictions? Yeah. I've been broadcasting for 21 years. I'd like to think I've been right more than I've been wrong. And Murph, I got to be honest with you. I'm really happy to be wrong this year because I feel spoiled that I get to interview Ohio State and Notre Dame. I feel spoiled that I get to see Riley Leonard because it's been a long time and it's been a couple of years. So to me, this is a really awesome moment for college football. It's an awesome moment for athletics. It's an awesome moment for student athletes. And it's an awesome moment above everything for God because he's been put out there so much so often. And if people are paying attention, there's a movement going on in America right now toward God. And I've been waiting a long time for this. So beyond everything else, I'm really happy to see it. But Murph, I mean, I got to be honest with you. For everybody, and you know this because you and I have talked about it, we've debated things, but you've heard me correctly where other people have not. And there's one pet peeve that I don't like above a lot of others, and that's when somebody misrepresents you or twists your words. Fran Brown and I are very similar in that respect. And, so I haven't twisted yours, and you haven't twisted mine. And so you know that I'm not sitting here today mad about Big Ten and Notre Dame because I've never said that neither team was good. I've never said they weren't worth it. I've never said they weren't capable. I've never said they can't send guys to the NFL. And I've long banged the drum of Kyron Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr., speaking of Notre Dame and Ohio State respectively, and C.J. Stroud. So am I upset? No. People that have heard me correctly know that. You know that. I feel very spoiled to get what we've gotten. Credit to you for the prediction-wise this season. And, ultimately, I think you and I can both feel each other over the air enough to know that the emotion is positive. The expectation of this is high. And I feel outrageously blessed that I'm going to be at this college football playoff national championship game.
Oh, yeah. And we've talked about this all year long. And, we've said, what we think about the Big Ten and how they have a little bit of an advantage to, in the rankings, as compared to other schools. And, while I don't necessarily think you're wrong, we've had the debate about, why I think the Big Ten gets that treatment. And I think that's why it makes for a great debate when we can chat about that.
Yeah.
But I think now what people are starting to see is I don't think it's so much that I was right. I think it's so much more so people starting to understand why the Big Ten and those teams in particular get that kind of a treatment at the beginning of the year. Because sure, maybe they don't play anybody, that relevant, but they're always good, right? Michigan, when they lost 5 games, they got knocked out of the top 25 as they should have, right? Sure, it took more losses for them to get knocked out than you would have liked it to.
Yeah.
But they did get knocked out of the top 25, and we know that. So, and then they proceeded to go and beat Alabama, which was pretty fun.
And Ohio State. So, can we agree on something right now? Like, if Ohio State wins a national championship, Michigan beat them, and Michigan beat Alabama in their bowl game. So outside of last year's college football playoff national championship, this is arguably Michigan's second best season in a decade, and it came with 5 losses.
Yeah.
That's crazy. In all honesty, if Michigan could play 10 more games, I probably would have been like, watch out for them in the college. You know what I mean? Like, if they somehow could extend their season and it was like the NFL and it was like 5 losses, whatever, if you win your division, you win your division. Michigan at the end of the season was probably, in my opinion, even more so. Like, last year, I didn't necessarily think, like, the Michigan team that I saw this year at the end of the season was like the most excited I had been about a Michigan team maybe ever, because like last year they were like amidst all the allegations and Jim Harbaugh was suspended and there's all this stuff going on and all that. But like this year with 5 losses, honestly, if people were waiting for me to defend the Michigan Wolverines this year more than any other year, I'm like, man, I wish that they could have played more games, because their last 2 games of the season were arguably the 2 biggest exclamation points that program has had in a decade.
And I think it proves more to the fact that, even when a Big Ten team is not having a good year, they can still go beat anybody on any given day, right? I mean, Indiana was the one I was kind of defending, and then I watched them get their butts kicked by Notre Dame and Ohio State. But
it's okay, Murph, to tell me that Army deserved that game more than Indiana. It's okay to say that now.
But here's the thing, and we've had this discussion before. I mean,
yeah,
like, I said it. I always say at the beginning of the season who I think would win head-to-head. I think Indiana would have won that game head-to-head personally. So that's why I would still put Indiana in over them. But at the same time, we talked about all the other teams below Indiana that we would have put in.
Yeah.
Over
I would have put
Indiana.
in half of the SEC over Indiana. So.
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have put in. There's other teams. There's a lot of other teams we could have put in over Indiana. I just didn't personally think Army was one of them. But then we had the conversation about that was awfully close. The car just decided to pull between us, and because I'm sitting at the Orlando Premium Outlets right now. The car just decided to
wait a minute,
go between me and another car, and almost hit my rental car.
Well, Murph,
it was very close.
I'm happy that you're safe, but I have two things. If you're at the Orlando Premium Outlets, are you by Mary, Queen of the Universe, the church?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, if you're at the outlets I think that you're at, and knowing the man that you are, and knowing your personality very well, you need to go eat at Ford's Garage for lunch today.
Can I say something that you're not going to like?
You don't like Ford's Garage? They got burger.
I had lunch as we were doing the show.
Well, you
remember when you were doing the long
Oh
intro
no,
and
I heard you eating, Murph. I heard you eating, but what I want you to do is I want you to go there for dinner, because somebody of your like everything that you value in Ford's Garage. I'm telling you this right now. You're going to love the bathrooms, and you'll tell me why after. You're going to love the bathrooms. You're going to love, you can get your traditional burger, get your barbecue, get your fries, get your drink on. The bar's awesome. It's aesthetically pleasing to someone who's all about America and America-made vehicles and the American way and American food. I'm telling you right now, Murph, if Tim Allen is America, Ford's Garage is where Brendan Murphy would do home improvement, in my opinion.
Well, that being said, I'm right here. I'm going to drive over there right now as we keep talking.
I'm telling you right now. Like,
let's go see where it is.
And the bathroom is insane because it's all car related and it's like beer related. So like I'm not going to tell you what it is because I want you to experience it. But like you can't even figure out how to wash your hands without understanding something about like the mechanical world. So it's really cool. It's really cool.
That's cool. That's funny.
Yeah. No. My gosh. Like if
I'm
there
over there right now. It's half a mile away.
If there was a name, image, and likeness deal for Brendan Murphy, it would be Ford's Garage. I'm telling you right now. Telling you right now. So.
What's crazy though about the outlets is like it's two separate parts.
Yeah, well,
it's like not all together. Like I went over.
They added.
So I went to McDonald's and I went over to, across the way because they had like Nike and Adidas and Under Armour and everything. So I was gonna pop in there.
Yeah.
Because I got time to kill before I check in my hotel at 4:00. But yeah, I was over on the other side and saw some other things. So, I don't know if I'm anywhere near my hotel. I just figured I'd come here because it's kind of a central location.
They have North Face there too. North Face is right across from Ford's Garage.
Yep. Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, but no. Are we gonna stay on the air with you when you like experience it, or are you gonna tell me after?
Well, I'm gonna have to tell you after because realistically, I'm just gonna drive over there just to see it for now.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go in yet because I already ate.
That would make for an interesting wake up call. Is be like, okay, we're gonna go into the bathroom of Ford's Garage with Brendan Murphy, and but the reality of it all is see it now, and I'm telling you this, go there for dinner.
I like the idea.
Go there for dinner.
I mean, realistically, I'm going to check into the hotel. I'm going to get my hair cut because my barber lives down. One of my old barbers lives down here, so I'm going to see him and he's going to cut my hair. And then I got nothing else planned for the night. I might, emphasis on might, go play golf at a golf course that is under the lights.
Oh, nice.
Either tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, there's like Foxfire's over there, I think. So
I think it's called shoot, I forget what it's called. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, because they golf all year round in Florida, folks. For those of you that don't know.
Orange Lake Golf Club.
Okay.
The Legends Walk at Orange Lake, which is under the lights.
Falcon's Fire is the one I'm thinking of, which is on Orange Blossom Trail, I think. But with that being said, Murph, I will bid you adieu here. I'm going to let you go experience Ford's Garage. Thank you for taking us on the road with you, as Murph and I have both been on the road, and Murph down in Florida. I was down in Texas because I'm running for president and Murph is helping me. So, so we're having some fun with that. But by the way,
Ford's Garage. I'm just pulling up to it right now.
I'm telling you, Murph, you're gonna love the cars that are right in the front of it. My dad loves it. So enjoy.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Is it like Model? Is that like Model Ts or something?
Those are some old babies right there. Those are what Tim Allen would call That's some Tim Allen. That's some home improvement. So
I love that.
enjoy.
You got 2 Model Ts right out front.
Yeah. Well, go enjoy it.
Prime burgers, craft beer. I love it.
Do me a favor. Take a
I think that's gonna be a move for dinner tonight.
Yeah, so what I want you to do is either now or for dinner, Ford's Garage, take a video of your experience, send it to me via text, and we will share it. By the way, Ford's Garage, I have said your name about 62 times. I'm expecting my partnership to come through. But send me a video because this is Brendan Murphy's NIL. This is his NIL deal. So go enjoy it. Thank you for the conversation. I love you, brother. Have fun in Florida. Have fun in Orlando. Stay safe, and let us know how it goes at Ford's.
Will do. You'll see a video from me probably in the next day or two.
Sounds good. All right, man.
All right, take care.
See you later. That coming from Murph here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. I said we are going to take one last step aside, but we got to take one more because Great Lakes Honda City, being our studio partner, you got to hear from them again. And who doesn't want to hear from a good old Italian? And we mentioned Pizza Man, so let's go with that. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you and happy to be broadcasting here back in the great state of New York after being down in Texas. And we are a week away from the College Football Playoff National Championship between Ohio State and Notre Dame. And I, by the grace of God and the goodness of wonderful people inside of the college football playoff, have the opportunity to be there for the national championship game in the historic first year of the 12-team playoff. So I'm very excited to see the Fighting Irish and the Buckeyes live. I'll see the Buckeyes live again. Fighting Irish I'll see live for the first time ever. I've never seen... No, is that not true? I'm trying to think. No. I saw Notre Dame at MetLife years ago when Syracuse played them. So it'll be my second time ever seeing Notre Dame live. First time seeing them in the college football playoff. First time seeing them in a championship game. And first time seeing them on site on location with Marcus Freeman as their head coach. So looking forward to that because I interviewed him a bunch of times with Brian Kelly as their head coach. So excited to see them there. Shout out to Ryan Day, Marcus Freeman, all the student athletes, all of the staff, all of the fans. This is your moment. The Buckeyes and the Fighting Irish, the stage is set. The spotlight is yours. Who will hoist the first ever 12-team college football playoff trophy? A lot of great stuff coming up. I send you all my love. Hope you have a wonderful day. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Wake Up Call coming to you all throughout the country and the world on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both / WakeUpCallDT, on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com as well. And, of course, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, to find the show there. Make sure you follow and subscribe. Thanks to Brooklyn Pickle down in North Carolina on 1788 Old Morganton Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina, right down the road from Pinehurst Golf Courses. Go and visit them today and let them know that DT sent you down in North Carolina. And, of course, our team of partners in Central and Upstate New York. We got a great team. I argue that we have the best team when you talk about sports. Great Lakes, Honda City, Carvel, DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Servomation, Avicoli's, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Mother's Cupboard, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Brian's Landing, and of course we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call. Find your Dolphins during Dolphin Time, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Time with the Dolphins, student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. Of course, 2 specials with Phil Brown as well as Q&As with Phil Brown, the new leader of athletics, the assistant VP of athletics and campus recreation at Lemoyne College. And so very excited to share those with you and so much more, including our most recent special, Dolphin Dive Leadership Special with President of Lemoyne, Dr. Linda Lemura. Find it all on youtube.com / WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and of course find our Lemoyne playlist. You can also find the Dolphins on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to LemoyneDolphins.com and Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bobcats every month in what we call the Bobcat Buzz. And you will find plenty of Bobcat Buzz coming up here in January. A lot of great things to come. Of course, student athletes, coaches, and administration, all there on youtube.com / WakeUpCallDT. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the BSC Syracuse playlist. You also find the Bobcats on WakeUpCallDT.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com, and shout out to new athletics director Brooke Paro. You can see that exclusive breaking news story about her becoming the new athletics director of Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse by going to WakeUpCallDT.com and clicking on the articles tab. And of course, you can see the news about men's basketball head coach Clay Gagan-Sherman adding to his duties assistant athletics director at Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse. That exclusive breaking news story also on WakeUpCallDT.com. Go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday during Bearcat Time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. finding those Bearcat student athletes, coaches, and administration. You can also go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our Binghamton playlist with all of our Binghamton Bearcat specials throughout this first year of our partnership. You can also find the Bearcats on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it has been an honor and a privilege to start off a new year and to be in my childhood home, broadcasting. Just upstairs in this house, I had all of the dreams that I talk to you about all the time. And I'm happy to be able to celebrate those today. With my mom, with my dad, with my dogs up in heaven, Mordu, Cinnamon, and Shady, with my little daughter here, Miss Lily, right off camera, and of course, with my grandparents, Grandpa Bill, Papa, Pop Cavino, Pop Miller, Gammy, and G-Mama. I love you all. Thank you all. Thanks to Murph for being awesome today on the show and for being with me for DT and Murphy. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. We're not done today. It's my first day back. I've been back for less than 24 hours, and I will have a show tonight at Avicoli's. Liverpool Boys Indoor Track. We'll see you out there with Andy Lewis and his student athletes. Come have dinner and support the community. Support your Warriors that are soon to be legends in a year. And, of course, Liverpool High School right down the road from Avicoli, so you can walk there from the high school. We'll see you tonight, Monday, January 13th at 6 p.m. at Avicoli's. Liverpool Boys Indoor Track, celebrating the legends. And can't wait to see you out there at 7839 Oswego Road at Avicoli's here in Liverpool, New York, in Central New York. God bless you all. Have a wonderful day. God bless. No stress. Do your best. From the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, this is Wake Up Call. Know your worth. It's a